Animal testing. It's pretty straightforward. It is tests done on animals. Testing on animals all started in the mid-1900s after a few drugs and products that were not properly tested went wrong. In the 1930s, people were suffering serious eye injuries from cosmetic products, leaving one woman permanently blind. In the 1950s, a drug was given to pregnant women to control morning sickness but cause serious birth defects. This left the government no choice but to develop animal-based tests to keep people safe and protected from injuries and side effects. According to Abbott, 2005, up to 5,000 animals are used in standard chemical testing, and up to 12,000 animals are used if the chemical is a pesticide. What surprises people the most are the types of products that are tested on animals. The Windex you use to clean your windows, your Listerine mouthwash, Clean and Clear face wash, Head and Shoulders shampoo, your CoverGirl makeup, and the Febreze you use to freshen your room all test on animals. By buying these companies' products, you are supporting and feeding the horrific cycle of animal testing. There are pros and cons to everything. Ian Murnigan, a writer with a bachelor and master degree in science, provides a list presenting the pros and cons of animal testing. Some of the pros includes animal testing helps researchers find treatments and drugs. It helps ensure the safety of these drugs and treatments and improves overall human health. His list of cons include animals are killed and kept in captivity. These tests are expensive to conduct. Humans and animals, although similar, are never exactly alike. And some of the substances that are being tested may never actually be used, making some of the tests being done pointless. Fortunately, there are alternatives to animal testing and ultimately animal suffering. In her journal article by Alison Abbott, 2005, she mentions the European Center for the Validation of Alternative Methods, otherwise known as ECVAM. It was developed in 1993 with the goal to reduce the number of animals used for regulatory testing. Since 1970, the number of animals tested on per chemical has fallen from 150 to just 8 as of 2002. This reduction is due to the alternative in vitro testing, which means performed or taking place in a test tube, culture dish, or elsewhere outside of a living organism. So this means that instead of using live animals to conduct such tests, the chemicals are instead being tested on cells in a test tube and has no harm on living beings. If there is an alternative to animal testing, then why is it still occurring, you might ask? This is because there are concerns about the conditions that the cell cultures are being kept in. The regulations of the environment and the authenticity to a living being are being put into question. According to Hartung and Dess in 2009, there is a good cell culture practice that has been proposed but rarely ever applied. Things like the temperature that the cells are being kept in are not accurate to that of a living being, as well as the concentration of the cells in the culture is sometimes less than 1%. Most in vitro tests also only include one type of cell, which disallows cell-to-cell interaction, which is also not a realistic representation of a living being. The growth and division of the cells in the culture are also altered to be much more rapid than those of a living organism to allow for researchers to go on to the next experiment faster. Again, this is not a realistic representation. With all that being said, in vitro testing is still a reliable way to test chemicals and drugs, as there are many benefits to it. There are also many limitations and issues with testing on live animals to keep in mind as well. If you are uncomfortable with and against animals being used for chemical and cosmetic testing, there are things you can do to help. You can boycott companies and stop using products that test on animals. Instead, you can use products that do not harm our furry friends. Companies like Urban Decay and NYX Cosmetics, Aveda Skincare, Lush Hygiene Products, Mrs. Meyer Household Cleaning Products, and NatureGate Toothpaste and Hygiene Products, and many others, are cruelty-free, meaning they do not use animals to test their products. This means you are free to use and enjoy these products without feeling guilty of the harm that was imposed on another living thing.